Hey, it's Mel from Rap Rankings. To hear the full episode this clip comes from and all of the other episodes, check the link in the description, stop by raprankings.com, or search Rap Rankings on your favorite podcast platform. And please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting to help us grow the channel and continue our journey as hip-hop's first and premier extreme podcast. All right, all you player hating fuck niggas, we back. And you know who we back with? All right, two-time guest. You heard him on Forest Hills Drive. You heard him on Speaker Box The Love Below. He's back. He's a writer for GQ, Billboard, I almost say NPC, NPR, Passion of the Wives, No Bells. This guy is a young fucking legend. I'm not just saying that. I'm not just glazing, as the kids say. I really believe this. Give it up. Put your hands together. Clap your ass if you must for Caleb, everybody.
That's a stellar intro. That's good stuff. I need you to introduce me just like that into my workplace now.
I would love to do that. If you want to call me and just put me on speaker, I'll do it.
Now, you did make it sound like he's on the albums 2014 Forest Hills Drive-In Speaker Box Along the Way.
Yeah, you heard him. Hey, maybe if he was on the album, it would have been a better album for him. I don't know.
Listen, J. Cole, hit me up. I can A&R you. You feel me? I can really do this. We can fix your albums.
You know what? I trust Caleb enough that, you know, there are certain people, Moulz and Mel, you know, we like to think we could A&R certain artists. I think Caleb could A&R a J. Cole album because it seems to be that you don't totally hate the guy. You just wish he would, you know,
no, but you got to have a healthy distance in some ways to properly do the job, you know?
Right. I mean, that's what, like, honestly, the music critics, they all end up pretty much, like, all their reviews is them basically focus testing their ability to be able to A&R a record. Like Alphonse Pitchfork, yeah, all them reviews is definitely him trying to be like, you know what, I need to do the next Los and Nutty album. Like, that's the way I look at reviews. It's like, all right, like, how can I sell myself, you know, for the next artist to be the next guy or whatever? I can do it. I've already done it. It's just a matter of doing it on the bigger platform, quote unquote.
Right. Well, who we're about to review is a guy who can't be A&R because he's dead.
Hey, talk about a bigger platform. Nobody had a bigger platform than this guy, okay?
Yeah, you know.
Hit that Scott Steiner drop.
Okay. Come on, man. All right. I mean, it's fair to hit because he owned it. It's not like he was, you know, self-conscious about it or anything. You know, he leaned into it. So, hey.
He's fat! I thought y'all were talking about Diddy for half a second. I was like, damn, they finally got his ass out of here?
Moulz, what did you say before we were on the phone briefly before we got here to record? I wrote it down because it was great. He said he was getting archival audio together for this album and said this guy and his predator mentor were sampling anything they could get their hands on. It's true.
Man, I mean, it could be worse. Like, we saw the down effects of sampling any and everything. We're currently living through it. So
we are.
Like, at least there was some swag to it, man.
Oh, this was the peak of just like the labels had the checkbooks open. And, you know, Evil Diddy saw an opportunity and he took it. I mean, you want to talk about maximizing your minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think PM Dawn kind of opened the game up for it a little bit. And they were like, man, if PM Dawn could do it, I can do it. PM Dawn did it the best, low-key.
Yeah, shout out to PM Dawn. The thing about them is, like, it was some show, like it was some, I think VH1 special, like some of those retrospectives, and they talked about them getting their ass beat on stage or threw off the stage or whatever.
Fuck KRS-One. Fuck KRS-One. Bum ass music, bum ass dude. He hated on sexy music. Fuck KRS-One. It's a bozo. I fucking hate. I always hated his music. He made a pedophile ass song, bad raps. Like, we not listening to that bullshit today, bro.
4 minutes in, KRS is pronounced dead on the scene.
Fuck KRS-One. That shit's ass. Ain't nobody trying to hear that shit. He did that to PM. Like, I swear that Set Adrift on Memory Bliss better than any KRS-One record ever. Swear to you. I Die Without You off the Boomerang soundtrack. KRS-One couldn't do that.
Hey man, I got.
He'd be Humpty Dumpty all over them records. Ain't nobody trying to hear that.
Gotta load in different guns. All right, it's gonna be sprayed up. Pause.
There you
go. All right. Well, you were definitely not player hating because KRS-One ain't player. So
he for sure ain't player. That's anti-player.
Yeah.
He don't got no bitches. That's why he was macking on the younger lady in that one song. It's a nasty man.
Oh shit! All right,
I can't jump in and defend KRS because, quite frankly, his defense of Africa Bambaataa is beyond. You know, we can't step in and save him at this point. Folks.
What does a KRS-One hoe even look like?
Oh shit!
Like what kind of woman you gotta be to be like, you know what? I'm going up for KRS.
I'm busting it open for KRS.
You busted it open for KRS is crazy. He pulling up in the dusty Pontiac talking about, so yo, let's roll. Hear a whole bunch of loud ass nasty drums. It's crazy.
Look, KRS, if you're listening, some things are bigger than hip hop, like assault of children. All right, so you gotta let that go. Anyway,
get some bitches too.
What is this drop? It seems appropriate by the file name, but I don't remember what it is.
The fuck is wrong with you?
Okay, sure. Fuck is wrong with you, KRS-One. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, we're all gathered here to review track 6 on this disc 2, Playa Hater, produced by Stevie J and the nasty man Diddy. But before we get into that, ratings and all that, Hey, our guest, Caleb, you know, what made you want to select this record? What's your background with this joint, with this guy, with this album, if you will?
For the longest time, I thought Life After Death was way too fucking long. And I think it was a few years ago where I went to re-listen to it. And I was like, man, I don't remember this record at all. It was ended up being Playa Hater. And I'm listening to it. I was like, why didn't we get like a bunch more records like this? And it's my favorite Biggie record. I think it's the best Biggie record. And I think it opens up 1,000 different possibilities with him pursuing that kind of style, that sort of grandiosity.
Okay. Damn. Spoiler style. You might have to. I might get jumped tonight. I don't know. We gonna find out.
Like, good luck, bro. We know what you like. We know what you like already, bro. Like, if you just for comparison's sake, like the last thing that you rated when I was on here versus this,
You know what? I'm not gonna front. I was just in Vegas for a wedding for like the past 3-4 days. I consider finally losing my fucking virginity so I could defend myself going into this review. But it didn't pan out that way. And it wasn't because I just didn't have the opportunity to lock that in. It wasn't like, you know, I tried and failed. It's just, you know.
This man was going to do it just for the bit.
I was going to do it for rap. I was going to do it for rap rankings. I really was. But we was busy at arcade bars and karaoke lounges and shit. We wasn't at the club or nothing. So, you know.
Yeah. You could have got some action there too. You in Vegas, bro.
I mean, it was a shorty at the all-you-can-eat sushi bar, you know, like, it's a different type of raw fish I was trying to eat, but nigga, it wasn't I don't like hitting on people at work. They didn't come to work for that, you know, I don't do that.
Look,
so,
Caleb, you're familiar with the rating system at this point. What do you rate the song?
Oh, that's a fat 10, baby. I love this song.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Now, I'm going to give my rating. Mel will give his. I gotta ask you, perhaps even interrogate you a little bit about this best Biggie song. Not because you say favorite. I can't. What am I going to say? No, it's not your favorite?
Well, like, best and favorite, like, it's, since music is subjective, like, it's all interchangeable. Like, I don't know. Okay. We say, so it's your favorite. We're saying favorite, like, that kind of dresses things up. If it's my favorite, then I think it's the best.
Right.
Because it's subjective like that. People always, like, try and clarify, like, oh, it's just my favorite. It's not actually the best. That's a bunch of bullshit. There's no objectivity to it. Okay.
And that's all I got to say. Because here's the thing about this song. I've always defended this song. This is a song where when you talk to people and they discuss the differences between Ready to Die and Life After Death. They're like, oh, but Life After Death, it has shit like Playa Hater on it. I'm like, that's a good song.
That's why it's better.
To me, I agree with you. It is better than Ready to Die, but this is a song that so frequently comes up in defense of Ready to Die and why it's better than Life After Death. And I don't think that this record is a mark against the album in any way. So I'm going to give my rating right now 7+. Ding me, baby. Okay. I like the record, bordering on really liking it. And I'll talk more about why in a moment. But yeah, this checks out for me for sure. In short, I think saying this is his best song is like going to Tony's Rib Shack and getting the chicken. You know what I mean? Like they might have some good chicken.
I do that. Because I ain't fucking with the ribs all the time.
That's I go to Tony's for the ribs. I'm a rib guy.
But sometimes Tony got the crazy chicken too.
He does. He does.
If I'm not a ribs guy, I'm gonna be like, hey, sorry Tony, but like your chicken's cracking. I fuck with the chicken. People go to Biggie. I think the reason why people do that is because they go to Biggie as like this super duper beacon of like hip hop and rap and whatnot. And to be fair, like if I was judging it on those merits, I think Ready to Die is a better record because I think the pure rap stuff on Ready to Die is better than the pure rap stuff on Life After Death. But because there's so many different like styles, he really opens up the swag on this record. Versus Ready to Die, where it's a bit more plainly spoken. I think, I don't know. I go to Biggie for different reasons.
Word. Like, damn.
I know Mel's going to be one of those people that brings this song up as a mark against this album because they're putting every song up to some standard of like, oh, this isn't a rap record. This isn't, this is just him flipping the Delphine. Like, any kind of qualifiers they could put around it. But, there are records on this album that we've already reviewed at this point. Like, Mo Money, Mo Problems. Yeah, you get the rapping on there, but, like, that was a pop record.
Yeah.
That's not my issue with it.
Like, that's how I approach something like Playa Hater or the Lil' Kim record on here, going back to Cali. Mel, when we talked on the phone a little bit last week about this album, you were saying disc 2 you feel like he's fucking around more. I don't know if that's a negative or a positive, but it was like he's looser on disc 2. It's not as like like rigidly. I mean, what did you mean exactly?
He's not on that pure rap shit, to be fair. Like, that's why, like, again, it really depends on what you're going to. Like, people like Tupac for maybe those Dear Mama ass records, but I like Tupac because he can really swag on a DJ Quick record. He can give me How Do You Want It? He can give me Picture Me Rolling. I don't go to Tupac for fucking Tupacalypse Now. It's a different sort of thing. But if you're going to somebody like Biggie for, I don't know, Notorious Thugs or like What's Beef, then like Ready to Die has a lot more of that.
Well, that's a good point, bringing up Pac, because it's interesting how they're both presented as these pillars of hashtag real hip hop or authentic hip hop. And both of them niggas can hang with some of the jiggiest rappers who have ever existed in the genre. Like fucking How Do You Want It? Especially
this era, like, All Eyes on Me era Pac or Life After Death era Biggie, like 96, 97. That's where things were going.
Yeah, I mean, people didn't like some of them Tupac, right? Like, people didn't like What's Your Phone Number? I think that song fucking rocks. That song's awesome.
Literally just listened to that shit in Vegas. Yeah, I was in Target.
That song is hilarious and it's awesome. But some people would be like, man, I'm trying to hear Two of America's Most Wanted instead. They like the hard shit. But like, because I'm a R&B ass dude, it's like, all right, like this shit kind of sexy. It's got a thump to it that I'm fucking with.
But the last record on this album was 10 Crack Commandments. I mean, we just spent all that time going through the influence of that record. And, that's a premiere beat. Like, so we go from Going Back to Cali which is like Biggie kind of on some like West Coast, he's on the more bounce sample, into some pure East Coast sounding, 10 Crack Commandments, Primo beat, all that, classic Big, into Playa Hater. He's not going to just pigeonhole himself on this album, which is what I like about him.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it kind of gives him a lot more dimension versus like the, I need to be this kind of rapper. And like, nah, he can give you the sort of Medea play, like absurd, the robbery type of antics. Like he can really do anything. And that's why I love this song so much. I can imagine him doing records with Big Mo, like if he was still alive afterwards. Like
that's a good shout, man.
There's a bunch of different avenues that he could have took this. He could be more silly. He's naturally funny as a rapper anyway. So like you could really take Biggie to a bunch of different levels, and that's what would make him the best rapper. Not because he's like, this wizard on flows. It's because he can adopt so many different ideas and styles without sounding forced. Like, I don't know, Jay-Z on all them New Orleans records. Like Biggie probably could have floated on high, but Hove couldn't. Hove could have, like, Biggie could have rapped with Project Pat and it would have made sense. That's what makes Biggie such a special rapper.
Yeah, it's Jay, Nas, they've blown their Achilles out on certain records. And it's funny because like Biggie is a heavier dude if we're speaking physically, and he was as nimble as everybody else on the record. Like there's a lot of stuff I think we would have saw from him had he been alive, He would have been at the forefront of a lot of shit. Like I know for sure he would have been big up in, the No Limit run. He would have been on them Cash Money records. He would have been moving to Memphis. Like basically everything that Drake does now, Biggie would have been doing at a very higher volume and capacity. Well, I will explain what my issue is with the record, and it isn't anything that's been expressed so far. I'm giving it a 6+.
All right.
Now, Moulz, we had that conversation a week ago. I do consider this to be an example of a decidedly less serious disc too. Like this song, Another with Lil' Kim, Nasty Boy. It's all him on some other shit. I guess in Nasty Boy's case, literally other shit. But it's, to be clear, I'm a goofy motherfucker, right? Like everybody knows about me. However, this isn't something I need. It's cute enough for me to not.
We hear this all the time on the show. I don't know if this is something I need.
But just let me cook though.
What do you need?
Explain.
What do you need?
Let me cook. We're this deep in the album. They know what I need by this point. Okay, this isn't something I need. It's not a piece of shit. Like I can sit through it. I might even smirk at certain moments. And I'm not a purist. Like get this off the album. I'm not hearing this and I'm like, oh Biggie,
please don't fuck this album up, baby.
Nah, it's not like that. I'm not like get it off the album. I'm just not running this in my free time. I mean, Caleb, you pointed out like I got Childish Gambino leaks and like emo ass Charles Hamilton freestyles to lock in with. I can't be wasting my time with this. It's not bad.
Wasting time and Charles Hamilton in the same sentence, but you're not using it in the way that it should be used. Right on.
I don't have an issue with him taking this risk, if you want to call it a risk.
Hold on. I gotta see something. Let's go back to season 8. Can you pull up the Mad Villainy ratings, please?
Here we go. He always try to hit me with the gotcha, Caleb. He always wants me to.
I'm a musical attorney. This is what I do.
Okay, Mad Villainy, season 8. What do you want to know?
What did you give Bistro?
An 8-.
An 8-. What did I give it?
A 7+.
A
Same
7+
thing you gave this.
Okay. Look, this is so. Anyway, they're very similar records to me.
You laughing right there just made me think. Like, imagine a lawyer in court. You're like in the middle of his shit, like, yo, I'm cooking right now. like, I'm about to win this fucking case. That would be a crazy lawyer.
That was that YSL Nicole lady. That's why they locked her up.
Yeah. All right. What were you saying? I mean, I see what you're trying to get at.
I'm saying that, it's kind of the same vibe. It's like a lounge vibe, and this is one of the more visual records on the album for me. I see Biggie with like the fedora and the mic and like the spotlight on him on the stage with like the people sitting down with drinks. Like, it's like it paints a picture for me at least.
Big Sinatra.
And
that's exactly what this is.
It's got that like, Mad Villain bar and bistro like vibe to it, except obviously like, Biggie's really going for it with the singing. There's only one thing I don't like about this record, and it's like Puff with the falsettos, like,
that's
that's my favorite.
That's my favorite fucking part. It's so funny. It's amazing. He said, "Here's what they told about me." That shit's crazy. He said, "But my crew's so deep, you can't do a damn thing." In the falsetto. My theory is that crazy.
Diddy's falsetto is what makes people think this song is bad, not Biggie. I think Biggie, he's really going for it. You could say, he's not like a born singer, but he's really going for it. No,
he's a born sinner.
But if Diddy, I don't know, it'd be fucked up if like Biggie went for it and Diddy didn't go for it. Like that, you can't have an imbalance like that. Like,
I'm saying like Diddy should have just, he should have just played the background a little bit on this one.
No,
I agree.
I think the structure of it is perfect because he does the little ad libs where he was like, "This is a robbery." I'm like, yeah.
Wake your ass up. Yeah, that's when he's great to me.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. It's just the singing that I'm like, yeah, we could do without this.
I think it helps the song structure a lot by going into that absurd bridge. Like you're already leaning into the absurd sort of orchestral Shakespearean aspect of it. You might as well have that little bridge where it goes full insane and you hit the climax of the record and then you start to peter out. Structurally, you need that part. Otherwise, it's like a little too serious. You can't tell that this is like a silly
because he's
record.
Really going for it. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like it's the perfect balance of tongue in cheek, where you've got like it needs to be slightly absurd. Where you're like, this is funny, but you don't want it to be like, this isn't the Wiggles we're talking about here. Like this isn't goofy.
Yeah, I mean, just speaking of that little Puff moment, the lyrics is hard. I think every guy wants to feel like that. Your crew is deep, therefore niggas can't touch you. Like, that's hard. Maybe had he just been in his regular, seductive ass register, I would have liked it, but ultimately it's just one of those records where I was talking about his
seductive ass register. Were you trying to hit one of them freak offs in Vegas?
I ain't going to the Diddy freak off. Hell no. Nah. Imagine me losing my virginity at the Diddy freak off. I might never have sex again. That might fucking ruin it for me forever. No, I'm not at the freak off.
Diddy sitting on top of the ceiling like fucking Batman and shit, just watching it all go down. That's insane.
Speaking of which,
that's what
him on
doing.
Here. I mean, we know the niggas in the rafters like Sting, like with lube in his hand, waiting to swoop in and fucking finish on some nigga's face. We know about Puff, but when he's in the record talking about, don't hate me because I'm beautiful, baby. No, we hate you because you torture Cassie, nigga, not because you beautiful, but it's just funny. It's funny hearing this after, that shit went down a few months ago. We've always known he's shady. It's not like we found out about him for real, but like, yeah, it does kind of, I can say it doesn't taint the album and the music for me, but it's just certain things are now funnier. They've been recontextualized,
Oh, sure. Well, I mean, I don't know, but we also, like, we don't save that for everybody either. Like, I don't know, Prince kind of gets mostly unscathed by all the stuff that he's done. But right. But because he's like a serious musician, again, there's an inherent like goofiness to Diddy that people already kind of engaged with, where it's like, all right, he's serious, but he's also like, he's the small dancing motherfucker in the video. Mm-hmm. There's not like with R. Kelly. I'm sure y'all talked about him earlier in the album. There's a natural sort of like absurdity and ridiculousness to a Diddy and an R. Kelly where you get to laugh at them, but and therefore it recontextualizes the stuff that they made. But like somebody like Prince or somebody like Marvin, it doesn't happen with them,
right? Because they're looked at as quote serious.
They're real musicians and whatnot. Like Michael Jackson got real lucky. Like it could have happened to him, but he died not too long after, so everybody was like mourning that.
Right.
If Michael Jackson, if Michael Jackson was like still out and about moving in 2013, he'd be a punchline.
I think had he stayed alive, they would have took one more shot at getting him in that jail, because it wasn't over with. Like they weren't done. They tried in, what was it, like 93, 92? And they tried again in the mid 2000s. There would have been one more attempt. And here's the thing: what we always say on this show is that
I'm thinking about
basically.
Go ahead.
People make exceptions for who they care about. We all do it. But don't make excuses for them. Like, if you listen to R. Kelly, Chris Brown, Tentacion, Prince, Marvin Gaye, sure. But don't be such a fucking mark for them that you try to act like they didn't do the shit that they did outside of music.
Sure.
That's all it is. Like, I'm a Michael Jackson fan, but you'll never hear me get on some, he didn't do it. He didn't do that shit.
Exactly.
He made Billie Jean. You think he touched them kids? That doesn't have shit to do with him touching them kids. So yeah, I kind of do. He was in too many fucking odd positions for me to just write that off.
This all reminds me of that clip of the battle rapper T-Rex where he was like being interviewed and he was like, he got away with it, but he didn't get away with it. Like that's what this all is.
There you go. Right. We're never going to sweep anything under the rug on this show, in favor of popping for our favorite artists and songs,
No, but I mean, listen, this is, 97 Diddy. And
that's Pete Powers right there.
That's just, it's got to be acknowledged. Just like R. Kelly's chorus needs to be acknowledged, making no excuses for the man. But obviously the work done at this time, like something was in the water.
We talked about, Caleb, just Moulz and I are off time. Like the issue with listening to R. Kelly as just an artist, so to speak, is that a lot of his art is about sex and romance and knowing who he was fucking on. It taints a lot of that. And, the stance has kind of been like, yeah, all right, I Believe I Can Fly comes on. I might still get emotional. Fucking, I'm the world's greatest. I might still feel some shit. And I had taken the stance of I don't want to hear, bump
but then
and grind.
What happened when you did Dynasty?
Right. Or what happened when I did, Fuck You Tonight earlier. Look, that shit is undeniable. I'm fucking you tonight. That shit hard. I hate that it's hard, but it's hard. I had to fucking put it over. I don't approve of what he did. It goes against my usual stance of I don't want to hear sex music from this man. But in my mind, I'm just going to think about
it. That's all.
It's something special about it. I don't have to think about kids, and I'm not. I'm going to think about Shorty from the sushi spot when I hear Fucking You Tonight.
Yeah, what are we going to do about Marvin Gaye? His biggest song is Let's Get It On. What you going to do about that?
Mel ain't listening to no Marvin Gaye. He kicked him out of the One Gotta Go.
That don't mean I ain't listening to it. It's the One Gotta Go. I got to make a decision.
You told him he had to go.
He had to go. Get the fuck up out of here, nigga. It's Prince, Michael, and Stevie. You gotta wait. Actually, I didn't kick Marvin Gaye out. I kicked Stevie out. I think.
No, you didn't.
I didn't.
No.
Who I kick out?
Marvin Gaye.
I don't remember.
And why the fuck would you kick Stevie out? That's worse than kicking Marvin Gaye out.
Kicking out Stevie's way worse. I don't know why you tried to double back on that.
I don't remember who I kicked out because I love them all.
And I was out Marvin Gaye. You kicked him out because Gaye was in his name.
No, stop it. Stop it. Quit it.
Damn, all right. We hitting you with them allegations today.
You said, I don't need this. This is what you were saying. I don't need this. I don't need gay music. And I'm like, it's not gay music. His name was gay when it has an E at the end.
I never said that. I never said that shit.
He got the files on you, bro. I don't know.
Oh my God. You know what? This motherfucker Moulz is the most going to the files, son. Ass nigga I've ever known, okay? Trying to go in the files all the time. All right, let's keep it about Playa Hating. This is a record that I respect. I just don't ever have the desire to listen to it.
That's crazy. I play this song the most out of all those Biggie records.
I like this record because it stands alone on this album. There's no comparison to it.
Right. I don't need this in context with something else. I don't gotta, like, I can play this at any point. Same thing with Sky's the Limit and Fucking You Tonight.
We're not there yet, but that is a very high favorite of mine.
Hey, y'all
that's good shit.
Y'all will get there. Like, that's, if y'all don't get that right later on, like, this, I might have to hop on just to you know,
the state of the union address.
Exactly. Like, it's gonna be an issue if I'm not seeing the rating that I want out of that.
Like, Caleb run in. By God, that's Caleb.
I swear to with the country accent is really funny.
Yeah.
I was saying, you know, like there's some comparison to this and Bistro Mel by Mad Villain.
Mm-hmm.
But the only other record I can think of where like something like this pops up on like a pretty straightforward rap album and nothing like it pops up again is Cheatin' by Little Brother on the Minstrel Show, which we'll get to.
That's another great record.
This is one where, you know, he's doing the Percy Miracles routine on there. And it's like really, you know, just like out there in terms of what the album has been giving you up until that point and afterwards. But it's just like, it's hilarious, but it's really well done. And it really toes the line. I mean, Fonte can sing really well, so he pulls it off. But
that's my favorite record on that album too. Like, I've got a track record of this.
You love these outlier records. I respect it.
It's interesting, and it's not like what you come to expect, and it's like you can curb where the influences are in a really interesting way, rather than it just being like, oh, like I know what a Little Brother record sounds like, and then you hear Cheatin', and then it's like, whoa, like this really opens up the personality and the bounds of what you could expect a Little Brother record to sound like.
Right, and it's what separates a Little Brother from a bunch of other underground rappers from the mid-2000s and underground rap groups who might have been rapping over Ninth Wonder beats or adjacent beats in sound to try to, you know, get some of that exposure and whatnot. Like, you know, there was a reason they stood out, and it was because they were able to do things like that. They had personality, they had a sense of humor, and they were able to do, you know, skits that evoked, you know, the classic skits of like a De La Soul album. And they're doing these records that obviously connect with that crowd, but then they'll throw that curveball in there. And that's what made even like a De La Soul great, was that, you know, they were willing to kind of subvert the norm in some ways.
I mean, that's exactly why I like some of those earlier De La records versus like the later De La records, where they kind of get more, maybe straightforward's not the right word, but they definitely
it's definitely more straight. Post Prince Paul is like, there's more rigid. It's like, you know, a little more just like track after track. It's less like an album experience.
Yeah, I'm gonna like 3 Feet High and Rising and De La Soul is Dead and even Balloon Mind State. I'm gonna like that more than Stakes is High. And Stakes is High is a pretty good rap album.
I love it.
Like, it's, you know, there's a clear cut difference, and you can tell like where Prince Paul, you know, you could tell where he went to after that, where it gets like really off the wall.
I think it shouldn't be glossed over too that you know, Caleb, you're an R&B guy too, so like,
oh yeah,
departures like this are probably going to land with you too more than it would for other people.
Like, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I think we should always strive for something that feels sexy and fly and beautiful. Like, I don't know that we need to go like. I think hardness doesn't need to be the primary bravado that we're trying to get across.
I agree.
And what makes records, you know, like Sky's the Limit and like all those rap R&B crossovers that I love so much as a kid, is because you're able to really, you know, you're really able to toe the line between like, yo, this guy's hard. 50 Cent perfected this, where he was like, yo, like 50 Cent is a fucking superhero. He's bulletproof, but also like, this is super sexy and smooth.
Nobody ever did it again like him. Okay.
Nobody.
And you see
look.
and now everyone looks funny in the light except for him. He's doing great.
All right, G-Unit Soldier. I mean, but it is true. 50 Cent, I mean, he gave us this.
This for the bitches, nigga.
So we know he knows. We know he appreciates and understands the value of that. I mean, look, I was just telling somebody, like, one of the reasons I started making music, perhaps a lesser reason, but in the back of my mind, it's like the shorties might think this shit is fly, rhyming these words, So, like, that can't be discounted. A lot of what we do is to appear fly to women. It's just true. It's true.
What else are you getting up in the morning for? Like what? It's like people would be.
Well, they brought the McDonald's bagels out here to the West Coast, so that's steak, egg, and cheese. Okay.
I was on the phone with Moulz. What did you see? You were like, oh my God, stop everything. Like, because they brought the fucking steak bagel.
Yeah,
out
because
there.
they had those were a staple in New York, but they didn't have them out here for years.
That's
Waking
crazy.
up in the morning for that is cool. I'll allow that.
I'm a country bumpkin. I only do the biscuits over there. But that's neither here nor there. The 50 Cent, yeah, like I was saying, he really perfects that in a way where like he really knew how to like thread that. He is honestly probably the most natural like segue into what Biggie was doing at Life After Death. He like kind of carries that torch a little bit where he's able to blend the naturally goofy and, with something super fly and like something the ladies will like versus something like, nah, let's not get it fucked up. Like I'll shoot you.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect.
I see the thread. Yeah, I can rock with that.
It's just a shame that he tried to save the game in the process and then gave the game a career because he was like, you know what, you can have the documentary. It was unacceptable.
Disgusting.
Fucking pedophile.
Whoa, am I missing the game allocation?
Oh,
you
not
didn't know?
Oh, okay.
No.
Oh, you didn't know?
Your ass better call somebody and tell him about how Game got that fucking girl pregnant. Yeah, Dick Print Boy.
He got a 14-year-old girl pregnant and has to pay out $7 million in a judgment against him, which is why he wasn't able to retire with that Born to Wrath album.
Yeah, in his 30s, Caleb. I'm pretty sure.
And she gets all his royalties until she's paid.
As she should.
So, like, what are we... That's the thing. Like, you tried to sneak XXXTentacion in there. Like, that was, like, cool and whatnot. He don't make good music.
He don't. Like, no. Give me... I don't like that nigga. To be clear, I hate that nigga, as a matter of fact.
That's what be killing me. Like, you've got a lot of nerve, the audacity even, to make bad music and be a bad person. Pick a fucking struggle. Like Big Sean seems like a swell guy. Jack Harlow seems like a nice guy. Makes bad music. But Jack Harlow seems like a nice guy, but he makes bad music. I can live with that. But like X, awful music. And you're
Ain't
a bad
no X,
person.
okay? DMX is X. I don't know who this man is calling himself X.
XXX Tilapia was a piece of shit. And, I just, no. He was one of the least effective examples of an artist who it's like, oh, look how fucking versatile he is. How experimental. He can do this, he can do that. It's like, motherfucker, have you ever heard Charles Hamilton? Shit, listen to Rory if you must, but Tentacion, okay? If you played fucking Tentacion for Kevin Nash, he'd bury that shit because he has a sense of what's real. That nigga was not real. He was not a real nigga, okay?
And mind you, like everybody tells me like, oh, you had to be there for it and blah, 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 blah. But
I was there.
I was there.
Yeah.
I was in Florida when it happened. I was
playing some of the 6ix9ine records. I have no, I could rock with any of these guys if they made good music.
Big Treyway Moulz is crazy. I feel you though, because that shit goes crazy in the gym. I was 18 and I was in gym class or whatever, and I mean, I knew nothing about what was going on with him. So I hear Gummo for the first time, and I hit my personal record off Gummo.
Hey,
that's
there you go.
Like that, like that's the type of records. Like, I get why people say he's ass though. Like, I get it. I also didn't people like. I didn't look too time. Like, I didn't look funny when he said the N-word in the song either, because I was like, I'm coming out of Florida like 2 years prior, where every single Hispanic person I knew said the N-word. So I was like,
in New York,
that's just mad
anyone
regular.
who's non-white is using the N-word.
Yeah, and then like,
unfortunately, maybe, but that's the internet is.
Yeah, and then the internet was like, "Oh my gosh, he's saying blah blah blah," and I was looking around like, man, like I know it's not right, but like, I don't know, everybody kind of says that.
My stance on it, growing up in Southern California, it was the Mexican kids, and it was, I'm not going to tell them big burly ass Samoan football playing niggas in my high school not to say nigga. And they were using it like at the same frequency as they were saying oos. So it's like, whatever. Like, my stance has always been like, yeah, you shouldn't say it. I'm not going to like beat you up for it. I don't approve, but like, just say what you want, but do know it's niggas who are, less pacifistic than me that will check your ass, so just be prepared for that.
No, and I mean,
I'm gonna just be like, all right, whatever.
Like, I knew as a kid, this traces back to when I was like 5. Like, I saw like my granddad say it, and then I saw like some of my uncles say it, and then I looked around and I looked at me, and I was like, oh, this is not only a bad word, but my mom doesn't say it either. So I was like, okay, so this is a different type of bad word.
Word. Like, it is what it is, but I'm going to just say about 6ix9ine, I heard Blicky got the stiffy, and I'm like, oh, God, I don't know what you guys have.
He's got 10 records. That's
but
what
I'm not going to deny
this. If you try to tell me to my face 6ix9ine don't got 10 records, then you're lying.
Pierre laced that man something serious. That Pierre beat is out of this world.
He doesn't have a good album. He's obviously not a good person. He's got 10 good songs. Deal with it.
10
he might have 11. He might have 11.
Heavy,
no, he might have 11.
10's a little heavy. I ain't gonna hold you, but there's a few records.
If you speak Spanish, he's got 11, but he's got 10. He's got 10.
Wait, so you included the
That's crazy. That's wild.
Okay. Did not care to listen to the new 6ix9ine album, so like I guess I would have never known.
You got one on there.
Gummo, Billy, and the shit where Fetty Wap like lost his fucking mind on there. Those 3 records are fucking ridiculous. Fetty Wap gave the verse of his life on a fucking 6ix9ine record. That's hilarious. I'm gonna give you my best verse on this weak ass 6ix9ine record. And A Boogie's on it, I think.
Now, one of the worst has got to be Akon doing Locked Up Part 2. That's got to be one of the worst 6ix9ine records. What do we got here?
Oh, that did happen, didn't it?
We got Billy. We got Gooba. We got Gummo. We got Kiki. That's the one with Fetty Wap. We got Kika with the incarcerated Tory Lanez. Okay, he ain't got 10, but he's getting there. He's getting there.
Oh, all right, and
if you speak Spanish, he's got 10. We got Stupid with Bobby Shmurda. We got Tati.
We're getting into some gross territory. I ain't gonna hold you.
I'm hitting the drop. I'm hitting the fucking drop on Moulz.
Think about the truth of your argument.
All right, he's got 8 songs. 6ix9ine's got 8 songs, which is more than 6 and less than 9. He's getting there. If you speak Spanish, he's got 9.
I'm giving you 3. That's all I can give you. What took this to me is I'm seeing that Akon released like 2 little EP joints last year. Might have to tap in with that.
Oh, there's a song he did recently that I really liked. Hold on, Mel, can you hit the dealer? As if we haven't, and we got archival for this damn song too, but he did something like, it's like sometimes you hear something, you're like, yo, this is really stupid, but then you keep going back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like what's my shorty?
No, not like that.
Amy Bobby? No, that shit hard. Fuck out of here. Okay, that fucking
Sweet Love.
Oh shit.
Yo, Akon is 51 years old. I'm really starting to get up there. This is bad.
You got that Sweet Love by Akon, Mel?
I mean, I don't, but the dealer does. Maybe. Let me see. What is this? Yeah, I guess he's bringing it over right now. Okay, well, we got this dealer who supplies us with music for the low.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's on the way. He said it will be here in a minute and 30 seconds.
Sounds good.
Just to get some Akon, that's so gross.
When you hear it, you're going to be even more upset with me. So
let me see. Just recently, I'm looking in the folder of things that the dealer has dropped off lately. The Rocket Power theme song. What else? Oh, these are my personal dealer requests. So Fago on the Moon. Must Jesus Bear This Cross Alone by Sam Cooke. Sizzla featuring Curtains. Take Myself Away remix. Big Sean featuring Chris Brown, My Last. That's Racist with Ha 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 JK. Yeah, the dealer, what I love about the dealer is he asks no questions. He just gives us the strains we want. All right. That's a real nigga. All right. Anyway, the pack has landed.
I could never be that kind of person. I'd be like, you sure you trying to hear this? I'd take a preview first. Ain't no way that I'm selling you nothing that I wouldn't take.
Caleb is the discerning dealer, and I respect it. You sure you want to smoke this shit? Yeah.
That's how folks end up on that fentanyl. Because folks don't be like, they just be like, yo, I know fentanyl in here, but like, this shit gonna sell.
Oh man! All right, this is I guess Akon with Sweet Love as requested by
a recent song by Akon.
Turn it off. No.
Oh my God! What is this song? I know the sample. The fucking it's a Christmas song. What is this shit? This Mozart?
Oh no!
Dr. Dre knockoff. What's going on?
Ain't no love out here. No love out here. No love out here. No love out here. I found myself searching. Just couldn't find. Seems they all working. Waiting for the right time. Just trying to survive.
Hey, Moulz, you fucking with this?
No.
What the fuck? I thought you liked it.
Previously on Power, Tommy betrays Tasha.
Oh shit! I mean, hold on, though, because that Power soundtrack gave us that 50 and what was that NLE Chopper?
Oh, that shit part of the game.
That shit hard.
Part of the game?
Okay, so previously on BET Presents the Game.
There we go.
Yo, get that. We need to cleanse our palates. Get that part of the game.
Oh shit! Do
This
I
is what
have that? I
America
think I
needs
have
right
that
now.
already. Let me see. That's some shit. Where is that at? Hold on. Is it on here? Let me see. All right, I gotta hit the dealer. All right. Anyway,
I by the way, I do have to wonder why I have that Akon song bookmarked.
I don't know why you got that shit bookmarked. I don't know.
I think it was the classical shit that popped me. I was like, ha ha, and then the convict.
Oh my God. Well, you can't just push shit over because it pops you. You know, you gotta.
That's a slippery slope.
Careful.
It's a slippery fucking slope because you think you like something and then you hear it and you're like, yeah, this is bad.
That's right.
This ain't bad though. This is classic.
All right. Well, that's getting dropped off. All right, it's here. All right, he brought that much faster because it's good. You know.
Is that how it works?
Here it is. Yeah, that's how it works. When it's a good record, the dealer zooms right over. Check it out.
Yeah.
I'm a hustler, baby. I'm a hustler, baby.
I know heartbreaks, setbacks. Bitch, if I crap out, I'm sure I'ma get back. I've been through the ups and downs, you know I get around. So to me, it's all a part of the game.
Yeah!
Cold man, or the dope man, I'm almost for sure, man. I gotta take it, no need to say shit. I'm gonna take it. Robberies turn homicide, it's nothing to play with. Make money, make money. When shit hit the fan, we'll take money. Southside, be with the best of them, done shot at the rest of them. Yeah, checks I'm collecting them, check boy, I'm finessing them.
That's music.
again, in the lineage of this Biggie, because it's like, the damn, what's that sample?
What is that, Mary Jane Girls?
I think so.
All
Popular
Night
sample.
Long?
Yeah. And flipped it flawlessly.
Well, he did that on the Sincerely Yours Southside mixtape, where he flipped all those type of records, like those classic two-step records and whatnot, and he rapped on them and kind of just like ad-libs over them and lets them play out. We haven't done that tape yet, but eventually when we do it, it's going to be a fucking movie.
Well, I mean, shit, that ties into my final thought about Playa Hater, which is like, he comes up, I like Take You Back to the Classics, B.I.G. style. Okay, yeah, Delphonics, Hey Love, it's a classic, great song. This song just makes me want to listen to that song, or that Be With You remix I played on the Miseducation episode, Lauryn Hill and Mary J. Like, she starts out with, interpolating Delphonics. I don't need B.I.G. style, which is fine. No harm, no foul.
We've never heard a phrase uttered more in the halls of rap rankings than "I don't need it" by this guy.
That's cap. That's cap.
You're treating this song like how I treat Tizo Touchdown.
All right, now look. Tizo Touchdown
is god awful.
He's one of those guys that pops up and I'm like, great, here's somebody who I'm gonna have to like deal with people sending to me. It's like, oh, I found this guy, I think you really love him. Like, every nigga who tries to dabble in a bunch of different genres is not gonna be somebody I love, because it's hard to do successfully. All right, you can put fucking nails in your head all you want, but
our Rap Express subject this week, Kenny Mason. I mean,
oh hell no!
I told Moulz Kenny Mason is my Tizo Touchdown. So
all that shit is terrible. Kenny Mason, Paris, Texas, Tizo Touchdown, all that shit, all that TikTok algorithm ass music. Ain't nobody trying to hear that shit.
Don't do Kenny like that. Kenny don't make
what Mel tried to set me up with by putting that on a poll.
Hey, I'll be honest with you, man. All right. I had never heard that project. That ain't the one I heard. I heard Ruffs. Ruffs is
ain't no one.
Ruffs is some good shit. Some good shit, but
it's like bad skater music. like you go outside, like that's the type of music that Jonah Hill listen to.
Oh
shit. But the shit that upsets me about Tizo is because I listened to that stupid freestyle with him and Guap Dad, and they flipped the To Me Is So Into You record, and I was just like, y'all are gonna allow Tizo to ruin literally everything that I've ever liked.
I mean, hey, he hopped on my main man Drake's album and was part of the reason it's my least favorite Drake album. It fucking sucks. Tizo is on there for no good fucking reason. He doesn't have the vocal capabilities to handle those R&B moments. I don't respect his, experimentation.
It's not sexy. He plans on killing R&B.
Oh shit!
He's gonna.
That
kill
makes him
R&B.
a villain. That's a nefarious plot. Don't fuck with R&B. Don't try to kill
That's
R&B.
right. We got R&B Mel and R&B Caleb here. They're gonna take arms.
Oh, I will drive one of them fuck ass nails into his head if he tries to kill R&B.
There we go.
If he flips a Jodeci record, I'm going to buy a rocket launcher. Don't let him touch some shit that I like to a precious degree. It's fine. You want to ruin a little Drake album or whatever. It's fine. Don't touch shit that I actually like.
These fucking R&B. These new artists who think they're, jacks of all trades. Look.
I can't trust them. They don't know what they doing.
Okay. I go and listen to the old shit. If it's expediting my descent into old headdom, then fine. I'll take it. But it used to be better.
So this actually led into my pitch got rejected because I was it was probably too long form of an idea for like a small little magazine type of deal. But basically I had the argument and I'm funneling it through Brian McKnight and Genuine, where I don't think people say sex sells. I don't know that people totally believe that. I think people like a moderate amount to remind themselves that they're still kind of human, but I don't think that like people really want sex in like music. People don't want sex. It's the same reason that they complain about like sex in movies when statistically speaking, all the popular movies are super anti-sex. Nobody truly wants fly or sexy music. They want something in close approximation a little bit. Like Sexy Red gets to pop off because she's an exception to a larger deal. You know, it gets to be a little provocative, but people don't want multiple versions of Sexy Red, right? People don't want a whole bunch of Megan Thee Stallions. They just want the one. And even with Meg, she's trying to get that fucking Minion soundtrack ass music to pop. That shit's garbage. You know, people don't truly want sexy music. And I put it through Brian McKnight specifically because on that first album, he like has these super like fly, sexy records like That's the Way Love Goes or On the Down Low. But the stuff that you know him for is stuff like Anytime or Back to One, because there was a bunch of money in the fucking Mariah Carey Boys to Men type of deal. Mariah Carey's the same way. People wanted her to do One Sweet Day, or they wanted Boys to Men to do On Bended Knee. They didn't want them for, you know, a Jodeci record. You know, there's more money in getting these sort of contemporary type of deals. You don't want to ostracize the mom who's picking up Sunny D for her kids, because there's a bunch of money in that. So that's where you get more plainly spoken stuff. And you know, artists like Sexy Red and the sexy type of, you know, the sexier, sometimes even raunchier type of music, they take like a backseat.
You know, I can't speak for other people, but I know on this show specifically, we've had a lot of conversations about sex and rap. And I think Moulz and I kind of have the same perspective, where it's like, we're not totally against it, but there's a specific way you have to deploy it. You know, we always say like, you know, a little humor, like Too Short works, Devin the Dude works, because they can get very grotesque with the content, but it's, you know, it's sort of tongue in cheek. It's humorous.
Kevin Gates, recent example.
Kevin Gates,
Cash Cobain, even maybe a recent example.
You know, but I always say like when you get like, you know, bend that ass over, make that coochie breathe. Like my thing is, I don't want sex from guys or women. I always say it's not like, oh, I'm one of these fucking prudes or these double standard guys where it's like, oh, you know, all these women rap about is they pussy. And then I'm going off and listening to these niggas rap about they dick. I don't want to hear guys rap about they dick either. But there's a way to do it successfully. And I think you kind of have a point there, Caleb, because largely what you do here and what pops off is not overtly sexual.
I mean, we're covering Biggie. When his raps veer into like sexual territory, it can get in that Too Short or Devin the Dude lane where it would be disgusting if he didn't kind of add a little bit of a wink and a nudge to it.
Well, I actually think too, to sort of, you know, talk that pop R&B lane, like you said, like, you know, mom's picking up Sunny D for their kids. It's like Bruno Mars has these marketable sexy records. He's not a sex symbol to me. He does not ooze sexuality, but like Versace on the Floor, you know, it's like, I'm not fucking to that.
Well, that song also didn't pop like that. What I'm basically getting at is like, it speaks the strongest in R&B, where you know, people either want these kind of like plainly spoken type of gentlemanly type of records, or they want like these super duper well researched type of records. It's the reason why, like, as much as I like some of them Victoria Monet records, that last album isn't like super crazy to me, because I'm just like, okay, like this is all, it sounds like an approximation of what, you know, of some older records that people want. People don't want something new. They don't want something fly. They don't want something sexy. They want something either
I just listened to that album, Caleb, just because she won a Grammy off of it, I believe. And I'm like, all right, I'll finally give this a listen. And the most respectful thing I can say about it is it sounds like rejected records from a Beyonce songwriting camp that are very well produced and mixed.
Well, that mind you, again, it's like well researched. Like, it's a reason why she wrote for Ariana Grande this whole time. So the reason why she has not only the narrative to pop off, but she has the respect for the craft to sort of do it correctly. You know, it's not like you're not getting like a sexy, cool record out of it. You know, you're getting something that's either A, well observed and they do it correctly, or you get something like gentlemanly and a little flat.
You know what I think sells too? It's the metaphorical sex, because they don't have to be overtly sexual or outright sexual. I'm thinking of like a Pony by Genuine or a Rock the Boat by Aaliyah, where it's like, these are songs I grew up hearing. And as a kid, I didn't know it was about sex until I got older. You know, like I used to wonder why my dad would skip Rock the Boat sometimes. And I'm like, what? It's about boats. Like, I fucking love this record. And then it's like, oh, work the middle, stroke it for me. Oh, she's getting fucked. Got it. Yeah. You know, it's like that shit will fly on the radio because it's innuendo.
There are exceptions to it. Like Aaliyah makes a sexy fly type of record, but like Pony pops because it's kind of absurd. People can kind of get into the gimmick of that.
The humor. Yeah,
that's why WAP succeeds, right? Something like, you know, so over. Yes.
Right. People want people don't want sexiness. They don't want fly records. They want something that's either a close approximation of what they already know, or they want something gimmicky and funny that they can engage with, or they want something really plain. There's no room for sexy records like that anymore. And we saw that in somebody like Brian McKnight, where he made a lot more money off of doing these very respectful ballads about, you know, love.
Right.
But like his best stuff to me is when he like puts the gold chain on and he puts the hoop earrings on and he starts strutting his shit.
And turns into the guy that apparently he is in his real life, because didn't he have like some kid he just didn't pay attention to? Like it's just like he's like a lot of R&B singers. He's a fucking dog, low key, you know, or high key. But
that is literally what R&B is all about.
Right, being a fucking dog.
I've never
and making it seem sexy and cool.
I've never seen like a at least in terms of men anyway. I've never seen a good man in R&B that's not named like Stevie. You don't see like good men in R&B. You've got to indulge in some debauchery. Otherwise, it's all gonna, you know, when you try and sell sex to me, it's not gonna sound right.
Right. Hey man, if we had a written wing of rap rankings, we would accept the pitch, because I think you cooking something. But you know,
I don't know that because I like wrote about it a little bit in like a little blurb type kind of area, because I was listening to these like unreleased Genuine records that was during the Devontae Swing basement type of era, where he was bringing up people like Missy and people like Aaliyah and people like Static Major and Timbaland and whatnot. And like the difference between those records and the records that Genuine would do in like 2003, the difference is way different. You know, like you're either going to get something really plainly spoken like Differences, you're going to get something absurd like there's a In Those Jeans, which is a great record.
Those jeans.
Yeah, that song's absurd. Where Devontae, like, he really believed in the discipline of being able to really hone in the absurdity of those Jodeci records, and you really mix the theatrics with something that's like deeply serious, because you're not going to be sexy and like sexiness and goofiness. One takes a backseat over the other. You know, you go in and out of those.
It's a hard balance to strike. It is. Like, you know, when I think of like a Prince, it's kind of like, I think part of why he kind of started to wane a bit after the run in the 80s is because, like, you know, his music stayed sexual, but it may not have been accessible sexual. And, you know, like, it was some Sade quote where she was like, you know, I respect Prince, but like, I think he sucks, low key. Like, he's too,
I gotta read that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, she said he was, I think, tacky or something like that. But like she
Wow.
respects what he does, you know, and it's like Prince is a guy where I think he kind of made his name on being like the little tiny freak boy, but sometimes he could be too freaky for people, you know, and it's like, all right, this isn't gonna fly. But it's like, you know, Prince is the kind of guy who will sing masturbation on a record, make a song about touching yourself, you know, like, yeah. Oh, okay, here's the quote. She called him trashy, actually. She called him trashy. So, you know, yeah, I think you're right. Like maybe people think sex sells, but what really sells is just being provocative, you know, being sensationalistic, like not the actual sex of it all. Maybe.
Right.
So,
I mean, like it's a reason why Boyz II Men sold more records than Jodeci in the end. Like Boyz II Men is objectively a bigger band because they've got a record like One Sweet Day or On Bended Knee. Like you don't want to focus too much on the cool aspects of it.
You're the sex. That's what they don't understand, is that like, look at Dave East and the type of music that he makes, but like his fan base is pretty much 100% comprised of women that want to fuck him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rough, but I mean, like you go back to Devontae, and like the difference between what Genuine was doing then and then like after Devontae, you know, it's a difference. Same thing with Missy, and it's either for the better or for the worse. Like sometimes you're gonna get someone like Missy who really is able to get into the, you know, the real big sort of funny aspect to it, but then you've got some people who does it for the worst, where it's like, all right, like we've got to tone it down so people can understand it. And
you know, I'm gonna ask you this while you're here, really quick. How do you feel about Final Fantasy on Scorpion?
What?
Because that's perhaps his most overtly sexual record.
Oh,
ever.
I see. Okay.
And I think it worked because it was sort of absurd.
I just don't think Drake sells sex very well.
Well, he doesn't, which is why I was asking. Okay.
Like he's I think people laugh at Drake rather than laughing with Drake. At least at that point, right? Like because he wanted to get people to believe his sort of machismo aspect of it, I think his music suffered a lot for it. Like it's a reason why I like Passion Fruit more than like his fucking One of Them One score type of rap records, where it's like, oh, you know, I remember back when I was with Chubbs at the corner store. Like, don't nobody want to hear these Chubb stories, bro. Like, sing about how like it's the reason why Honestly Nevermind is so much better than Her Loss, because it sounds way more true to what Drake is about, because we followed the damn journey by now.
I wish the only thing about that album, I wish he had actually taken maybe another year and really just locked in with that style of music, so he sounded more natural making it. Because I don't doubt that he really enjoys it. It's just for better and for worse, it just felt like a Drake song with, you know, different musical elements than what we're used to, rather than like, you know, authentic representations of those genres. But you know, maybe had he done that, it would have been worse.
Flights Booked was the one, man. You don't want to.
That's some shit. Yeah, that's that shit.
There's two of them that I like a lot.
Oh, Falling Back was really good.
Is the other one I really like.
That one's really good. Yeah, but I mean, this all in a way traces back to the Diddy sort of style. You know, you want to sell like sexiness to people, but the reason why that stuff probably popped off so much is because of the familiarity of it, because of the approximation to stuff that people are familiar with, not because people can go out and get sexy to that shit. People feel fly to these records. I may like it for those reasons, but people don't always engage with it on the sort of merits that it deserves to be engaged with. People just want that, again, that sort of close proximity. They want a gimmick, or they want something really plain and vanilla.
You know, I've actually always said that, like, you know, just from my time in the music industry, it's like people don't actually want new. You know, they love to throw around the, breath of fresh air or whatever. They want familiar with some twists. They don't want something entirely new, because the person who does do something new, they're going to be the jump off for someone to package it better. You know, like they're not going to get the credit for that.
It's really hard to be able to like sell something fly to people nowadays, where like now I'm at the point where I'm listening for new stuff and I'm thinking like, okay, like how do they take these older ideas and make it into something new and interesting and fly? And from there, it's just a matter of packaging. Because I think internally, people want to feel that good and fly and beautiful, but they don't know like what all that comes with. People don't have the access to it, I think. Because there's these sort of genre lines between these artists. Jodeci is gonna, wane a little more, relatively speaking, to Boyz II Men, because the Boyz II Men access, fits more of what the basic person wants.
Right.
And Diddy was able to balance that through a mixture of like gimmickry and with familiarity. So he was like, all right, like
it's gimmickry and familiarity, I think, to people who know the source material. But there were people like myself, when this came out, I was 10 years old, and I didn't get the album, but I heard the singles on the radio and on TV and stuff like that. And I didn't know I'm Coming Out.
Yeah.
I know Mo Money, Mo Problems. Then I heard I'm Coming Out. So, it's there's something inherently, like, when you hear those opening chords, it's like brain candy, so Diddy does deserve a degree of credit. It's like you have to know what to mine and what to recontextualize, even if the people who know will view it as like kind of second rate or gimmickry or whatever it is, Well,
I think that's the second step. I think once you reach that sort of level where kids can get to it, I think as long as you can get in the building with access, because Diddy knows about getting access. People have the familiarity and they have the sort of packaging that you would want to surround the record. I think anybody can sell you a record. It's just a matter of packaging and how do I sell it to people in a way that they give a fuck about it. And that's like Jodeci has killer records. Everything else, like the sort of, debauchery that came with a record like Freaking You, or like all these, like, them going out into the desert and singing their hearts out, like all of that is just packaging to go along with a killer record. Anybody can sell a killer record. It's how are we going to package it to people, and where does that come from? And that comes from access and either gimmickry or in familiarity.
Or in this case, Hype Williams as well, because, so much of living through this album in real time was seeing, the video and like Mace and Diddy playing golf and like all this shit, the outfits, the fisheye lenses that Hype was using, like the big budgets that the labels were willing to shell out for that kind of video, like that made an impression on people.
That's exactly it. And I think, we can continue using Diddy as an example. You have a record like You Could Be My Lover with Ty Dolla $ign in 2015, where that's a, like, anyone that has...
But the video is trash. It's the girls are hot, but that's it.
Anybody with two working ears can be like, oh, that's a record, that should be a smash, everyone should hear it. And I think everybody, like, every person that I showed that record would be like, this song is amazing. But because the packaging didn't work, and because of the context and the timing, people were not inclined to make that like a hit record, because the packaging and the accessibility waned a little bit.
Well, there was also a kind of there was a difference between the packaging, let's say, of that album and that era that Diddy was trying to kind of go back to the Puff Daddy namesake and everything like that. You look at that album cover and everything, and then you watch the video and it just feels like Diddy. It feels like, quote, love, whatever he's calling himself these days. Like, it doesn't evoke that era of Diddy that the album cover does and what he's trying to achieve with it. So it's like you go in, you take half measures, and that's how you take a smash, and it just becomes a song.
Just another
just
record.
Like sitting on the album, like collecting dust, when it could be a record we all know and love.
Yeah, his ear never failed. It's more just like, how do I package it to people at this current state? Like, what are people looking for? What's the ideas that I can sort of sell to someone? How do I get it to people?
And then going all the way with it, right? Like,
exactly.
actually taking that big swing and saying, for this whole era, I'm only wearing furs and 3-piece suits because I'm bringing it back to the Puff Daddy era. Anyone calls me Diddy, I'm kicking them out of the room. Like, you know, you really got to go all in with it. And of course, especially Diddy, a guy who we know as, in some ways, like the first Kanye, like the guy who just is going to go all in and make a spectacle of himself. And, you know, when we saw the choir, he had like the Harlem Boys choir show up at the award show doing the I'll Be Missing You thing. Like, when you present that level, this is my problem with wrestling. It's like, when you show us the mountaintop, don't show me just a peak and tell me that we're at the mountaintop again.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta now, you're gonna be held to that standard forever. So unless you're bringing the choir with you and you're doing crazy, like, this is, you know, what befell Michael Jackson, how he got into the This Is It concerts and everything like that, punishing his body, ending up taking drugs that ended up killing him, because it's like, I'm Michael Jackson. I can't just give you a ho-hum stage show and that's going to be it. I have to get on a giant cherry picker and go 80 feet up into the air for Earth Song. You know, because I must, because I'm Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
This is what Kanye's dealing with right now. Let's put all the bullshit with him aside and the racism, anti-Semitism, or whatever. And it's just like, he can't hit those peaks, whatever those peaks were, Glow in the Dark tour, whatever it was. The spectacle has to be equal now.
Well, I don't think that's so much the problem, as more as it's like he started taking opioids at 40 years old, and his brain never recovered from it. Like, his brain is
the subject of his brain just being totally mush. I agree.
His brain being mush doesn't allow for him to make good music anymore. Like, it's over for him, because his brain is so fried to shit. Like, I'm sure he gets it on a straight basis. Like, that's why Donda still had all that sort of pageantry to it, but the music kind of sucked. People want that sort of scale from him. The music's just not very good, and people don't care,
the scale's
because
not
his brain
there
is
either.
mush.
The scale
not now.
It's
but
like very minimalist sets now that he's doing for the live shows.
2 years ago, people were all on that. 2-3 years ago, people were still buying in on that. So I think it's just like, again, his brain is mush. But yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you on the Diddy point. Like, I'm sure he could have took a few cues from Kanye, and Last Train to Paris could have changed a lot of things into the 2010s.
Didn't lean into it hard enough, and really didn't do much to make those girls stars, which at least one of them, Dawn Richard, absolutely had the capability.
Yeah. He could have learned to take a few cues from somebody like Kanye, who would have been able to been like, all right, like, I know. I mean, the album cover speaks to itself. You've got all the colors, and the music speaks for itself and what you want to give in terms of its imagery. You just have to package it to people. And because you got all this money, the accessibility shouldn't be an issue. So package it in a way to where people could really care about it. Give them something that provokes them, that means like, whoa, like, that's, you know.
And that was also a matter of, like, some of those singles were not the right singles. I don't think that the lead single being Angels was a good move. Like, I like the record. I don't think it's a good single because,
well, like, and then he tried to lean into like really boring Coming Home because none of that was working, and I'm just like, just because you failed the packaging doesn't mean you have to go with this boring, like, glib idea for what, you know,
now we're
what
talking
a hit
like
is.
Music that doesn't even sound like why I listened to rap music in the first place, you know?
Yeah, it's Ass on the Floor gets it. On that first, like, 5-song opening stretch, I'm like, okay, like, he...
Oh, listen, I love Ass on the Floor. Have you heard the Dream remix, though?
No, I haven't.
Mel, I'll email it to you because I don't know if the dealer has this. Before we get it, we have some archival audio for Playa Hater, but you have to hear this. Caleb, you're gonna. This is not like the Akon style. This is something I think you'll love.
I can take that. I really had to sit here through current day Akon. He's 50 years old. That fucked me up bad.
Is he still making money off of Lady Gaga? Because that's why I think he stopped making music.
That's a good question. It's a great question, even.
With her success, like just being able to sit back, not to mention however long he was making money off of T-Pain. Like, what the hell does he have to make music for?
Right. I mean, I don't know. He was grifting people in Africa, so I don't know. Maybe that really flatlined him.
Oh shit!
I found it. So they did a remix like mixtape for Last Train to Paris, but there were some songs that also didn't make the cut. It's called Love, Love versus Hate Love Valentine's Day. And there's an Ass on the Floor remix of The Dream. Maybe it was The Dream and Tricky, but this is incredible. I mean, it's a totally different vibe than what you get on the actual record, which I love. On the Tempo Man, I think I do prefer the original, but this is one of those ones where it's like, you know, in the famous words of Mel, I need this. I still need this. Okay.
Oh fuck.
I'm sending it through.
I just want to say, because I was thinking about it, you know, talking about Kanye's brain being mush. It really kills me how I've been seeing, like, since that fake ass album came out, people are like getting combative with people for not caring to listen to Vultures. It's just music. Like, me personally, I can't engage with it in good faith, and I really don't know why or how anyone else can, so I just don't listen to it.
No,
Apparently, if people can look past the anti-Semitism and everything, whatever, but what they, I guess, don't realize or won't accept is his brain is fucking applesauce. That alone should make them not want to listen. Like, have they not heard Ye and Jesus is King and Donda, which are shitty as fuck to me? Like, why are you still listening to this guy musically if that's all it's about for you? He hasn't made anything remotely worth engaging with on a serious level to me since Pablo. So, like, what are we doing?
At least on those albums, like, there's, like, still a glimpse of humanity left in his, like, deteriorating brain. You can tell that there's, like, that's why he was holding on to, you know, Jesus and God so much, was because he like, literally could not understand that he was deteriorating in the brain. You know, so songs like Ghost Town or like God Is, like, those albums have moments where I'm like, okay, like, he still has something deep in there. But now at this rate, it's full boring provocation.
You know, like, right. And I don't have time for it.
I skimmed the album. It was boring. It was fine. It sounds correct. The musical instincts are still correct. It's just not very interesting on, like, any level.
That's a good way to phrase it. It sounds correct, you know, like, and a lot of people, I mean, kind of what we were saying.
He's got
earlier,
a lot of people to help him to get it to that point, because I know, you know, speaking of Charles Hamilton, when things really deteriorate, the music goes with it. If you don't have people in there propping you up.
Well, not to get on him, but I think, you know, what are you talking about? Like Woody's Produce? Because, I mean, he was engineering some stuff. To me, Charles didn't. It was never the people around him propping him up.
No, I'm saying Charles doesn't have anyone propping him up. That's why the decline is so evident, as opposed to Kanye, where he has a million yes men and yes women,
like collaborators
who are going to be able to get something out that sounds coherent.
Got it. Okay.
It's gonna be really depressing, where there's gonna be a moment where people either are gonna have like a surviving Kanye type of deal, or he's gonna overdose. I don't see a very bright and happy future for whatever happens next with him.
I've been saying this, man, and apparently people aren't willing to think about it, or they, for some reason, think that's not where things are headed. Like, and it's obvious because, you know, people in my personal life, other people I've observed that, you know, deal with those issues. It's like, if no one steps in, like, it's not going to self-correct, you know?
No, it actually just continues to get worse.
Yeah.
No, something bad is going to happen, man. Like, it's not heading somewhere quite happy. And because Kanye is like a historically known pervert, like, I don't see it going in a very positive direction.
Yeah, his new wife is walking around ass naked. Like,
in a plastic bag, bro. It's bad.
Yeah. You know, but at the same time, he's telling you, I don't want North on TikTok, bro. It's like, all right, man, like, pick a K, Uchiwali or one mic. Like, I know you maybe don't have the mental capacity to do that right now, but anyway, Ass on the Flow remix, right?
Yeah, by The Dream.
So, with The Dream.
You got Mel off on a Kanye rant.
No, you would know if I was really locked in on that fuck nigga. Anyway, here we go.
They don't even make R&B shit like this no more. It's that Jodeci. Hey, yo, Dream, I see you. Tricky. Give me that beat, fool.
When you're in the club, get down on the floor. When you're in the club, get down on the floor. When you're in the club, get down on the floor. When you're in the club, get down on the floor.
You know what it is. This is the remix. You know what it is. It's a dirty money. Hey, yo, Holiday. Let's get on this flight, baby. Yeah.
You're the love of my life, but you hurt my heart twice. Now I'm drunker than a motherfucker, trying to find my way back to your heart, you motherfucker. So I know there's a price when you're running all night, and you're drunker than a motherfucker, trying to find your way back to the love, you motherfucker. Baby, you know just what to do. I know you know the truth, and we will never lose. There's no me without no you. When you're in the club, get down on the floor. When you're in the club, get down on the floor. When you're in the club, get down on the floor.
Yeah, that's super Love King era.
Yep.
That's Love King era, like Yamaha, panties, like that's Panties to the Side, Abyss. That's that whole stretch right there. That's yeah. I still prefer, like, I still hear the drums in the background of that record, so it doesn't sound totally right, but I see the vision. If you're big on that early 2010s era Dream, like, that's bread and butter.
Dream, that's a guy I can safely say understands sex. So
he is the best of that man's descendants.
Look, all right, man.
It's the dream. Kelly. It's the dream inside $. They understood hashtag that man's vision.
I will say Ty Dolla $ign, that joint Missionary off of Sign Language. That's my shit. That's my shit.
He's got so many of them, and like off that last Diddy record, like he really picked the wrong nasty man to hitch his wagon to.
Really did. I mean, if you're gonna potentially, damage your own reputation by closely associating with like a fucking scumbag, I'd rather it be this scumbag.
If we're picking messes, like, the music's going to be a lot better with Diddy, because we heard it on the Love album, which
he's still got it. It's like, in my mind, he's still got it, but it's over for him now.
It's over. Like,
we're not getting No Way Out
nobody
too
wants
now.
To touch it.
He fucked it up for us.
It's over.
But it's not over for us, because we got archival audio for this very song before we close up shop here for this guest appearance. Of course, we still have the rest of the album to review. So, Mel, we brought in some music here. We got the Delphonics Hey Love, which is the sample. We got a little bit of Playa Hater, and then we have 2 songs that sample Playa Hater.
All right. Well, here's a classic. All right. The Delphonics Hey Love. Got the record itself, right?
Yep, we got Playa Hater. A 7+ for me, a 10 for our guest Caleb, and a 6+ for old Mel.
Here we go.
Good evening. And for my last hit, I'd like to take you back to the classic. B.I.G. style, of course. Playa. Turn your head round, lay on the ground, you've been round. Wake up, open the door, lay on the floor, you've been round. You know we need this money, and you, yes baby, you should just roll with me. Let's go off together on this robbing spree.
We'll make money. That's real music right there. And that's what this is what you're supposed to do when you got all that money to get good mixing and to get good mastering. Like that, so many people will take all this money and they'll take the mixing and they'll make it sound like too sterile and too like clean, and it sounds gross. It doesn't sound like how it's supposed to sound. This is like what you're supposed to do with a sample like that. You just maximize its features. You enhance the drums a little bit, bring the horns a little bit further to the forefront. You don't gotta make
like the drums might just be the EQ'd, like you're just EQing the low end perhaps of the actual sample, right? I
mean, you don't need
you're not adding in like gross sounding programmed drums on top for a record like this. It's not what it needs.
You don't need to. So many people get caught up on just sanding down a song's distinctive features, and it loses sight of what made the song good in the first place. Then you've just got one of these, it's what happens when you wax a car too much. You start to ache away at the paint, and then you've got to redo the whole record.
Yeah, we talked about this. I think recently on the Becoming, because Moulz, you were arguing that sample on what is it, the
One Shot Deal?
Have
Mercy. Yeah, Have Mercy.
Yeah, and you were like, he sterilized it, like he made it to whatever.
Yeah,
whatever,
I don't like that flip.
Right.
But this is supposed to sound like, so you've got the live sounding drums, and you have like Biggie, he's supposed to be performing in like a lounge setting basically. So I like that about it. That's not programmed. It's adding to the atmosphere of the record. Like I was saying, this is such a visual record for me.
Diddy has been consistent with that style of mixing. Like if you've got the resources to make it sound good, don't overdo it. He gets that. That's why the R&B record sounds better on his stuff versus any of the collaborators that he takes on there. Like sometimes a Ty Dolla record might end up sounding too squeaky, and then it kind of loses its sort of edge. It loses its sort of texture. It just becomes, a rough mush of autotune.
Right, and that's also like you're trying to make music, but you're also competing in a marketplace. And it's a marketplace now, or, in the last 10 or so years that Ty Dolla $ign's been active, than it was in 1997, for example.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I wish people would take those lessons, and it's what keeps a record like Victoria Monet's. And even I had this issue a little bit with Silk Sonic, though I do think they did it a little better, but it's the same idea where you've got these records and you're sanding them down a little too much to where the re-rock just sounds well rehearsed rather than your own distinctive sort of idea of it.
Shout out to Silk Sonic, I guess.
Shout out. Okay.
I still like a few of those songs, even if it is it's still karaoke at the end of the day. But
yeah, that's the thing. Bruno Mars is just it's anti-funk, it's anti-soul to me. It's you and Anderson .Paak. I mean, I haven't had the greatest track record with him and his albums after Malibu, so
yeah, it has the same
he's a
sort
mixed
of
bag
problem
for me anyway. But
I think what you can tell the difference because the No Worries stuff versus the Silk Sonic stuff, it's still re-rock, but the Knowledge production still has its own sort of distinctive flavor and texture to it.
It's got a texture to it. It doesn't sound like studio music,
Where it's Silk Sonic, I think just on its merit, these are really... They're basically just really shined up Philly soul records. The only difference is that I think the records themselves are really, really potent in terms of its songwriting and catchiness. The structure of it is what keeps it from being just another set of mush to me.
I appreciate them because somebody's got to try to make hits still. There aren't enough people.
They disbanded. What do you mean somebody's got to try? They said, we've had enough. We got to stop.
They can come back, especially if they go broke. You know how this industry is. They'll be back.
Well, I think plenty of people do it anyway. I mean, it's a reason why people, again, they're all over this Victoria Monet stuff. Who I think there are good records on that album, and I think she's promising. But it's it all sounds like rough approximations of better records. It sounds professional when she does it with Earth, Wind, and Fire. This doesn't have the sort of sweeping feel that I want from one of those big classic records. It just sounds right.
I don't want to hear a young woman collaborate with Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah, it sounds right. It sounds correct, but it's just all right, what about you?
It sounds like a wedding. In a wedding I don't want to attend.
It could be worse. We could have a bunch of those brunch time ass music,
Listen, it could be worse. We could have Fabulous and Ace Hood sampling Playa Hater.
Oh hell no! Okay, yeah, no. Do we have to play this?
We're trying to be the last stop. The historical record needs to be told as it is.
As historians, we could wipe this out of history through bad faith decisions.
I don't believe that's what they did in the dance. That's why people don't know their history.
He's right, but do I have I've never heard this before, and it just sounded like a threat when you. I
gotta be honest with you, I've never heard this before. It only came up in my research, and due to the historical nature of our show, we do have to play it. But look, I'm suffering right alongside you guys. Ace Hood has the I think second worst album we've ever heard on this show.
Love that.
Yeah, I found out this season that I fucking can't stand Ace Hood.
It's not even just a matter of oh, he's okay, but the beats failed. No, this guy sucks. And Fabulous, I've long been on the record of fuck Fabulous. So you know what? Let's go. Right, Fabulous Playa is our first of two records that show the influence of the Playa Hater song.
See, everybody ain't ballin', most is falling. Even more is crawling. When they look up, all they see is the position that y'all in. So don't be so up that'll blind you. I'm so far ahead that you don't see people are behind you. Player. Player, player.
Fuck off!
Player.
This is so much worse than I imagined. Player.
First you tell a jeweler, order off a K. Then you tellin' waitresses the rosé. Up in VIP, you meet your first Drea. In the strip club, one's in the A. Nothing but attention that they wanna pay.
All right,
no, that's crazy. That's
Shut
crazy.
the fuck up, okay? Shut the fuck up.
That's crazy because even Rick Ross had to say no to this. Like, this is the type of record that he raps on in like 2 minutes, and he's just like, nah, I'm not doing this, Fab. Give me another record.
It started off pretty bad, but then it just got worse, which was surprising. All right, Ace Hood, Home Invasion featuring Vado. Could this be better?
Wait, I thought this was a Fab and Ace collab. Oh no,
it's two separate.
I would have left the show if that was true. I would have just walked away. No, it's separate, I guess, but yeah. It's a
We the Best Music family affair as Vado joins Ace Hood for Home Invasion.
Oh no. Wait, what?
Turn your head round.
Where's the sample?
Lay on the ground.
It's just the song.
You've been round. Wake up. Open the door.
Where's the flip at?
What are we doing?
On the floor.
Where's the flip? What?
Nigga, I smell murder.
What do you mean?
Now I put it in the sternum. 10 killers in the Chevy.
We the best.
16 with a burner. Tell her put the money in the bag. Gon' show me where the stash. Like it funny with the cash, huh? Okay, niggas wanna play dumb. Dirty Glocks, never knowing where they come from. Bang, motherfucker get low. 100-round chopper, that potato on the nose. Killers stay lurking, then they do it on purpose. I just tell them keep shooting like they tryna overdose, huh? Keep playing with a real nigga. You gon' end up in the box like Kill Figure. Yeah, then you looking at a gorilla. On like no niggas, whole niggas Glock like a 4-wheeler. Could that bitch go to kicking? Blue cane.
Look, just like Miami night, 1 a.m. slop. You're hanging with DJ Khaled, and he
just cold sampled this. He just cold played the record.
Hey,
and
Biggie
went into another record. Basically, there's no point for it.
Biggie, Mr. Smalls. This is what I gotta tell you.
And if y'all are at fault, fuck you. If you're not, I apologize.
But if this song birthed that, then I have to look at you a certain way. You and Diddy, y'all, if it's y'all fault, it's y'all fault. Fuck y'all for this. But with that record specifically, yeah, it's just you started with that, and then you just flip into some fucking 2011 drivel. Like, it's just.
And it was sounding like MGK was in the booth, right up in his ear, like Beanie Siegel and Petey Crack's ear, okay? That's what I was envisioning when I was hearing those flows.
Just cold started the fucking set. This is what I be talking about, man. Like, people will just straight up just take the record and just be like, oh, well, this is basically, like, I'm sure Ace Hood got to be mad because Lotto did the same thing to Mariah Carey. Just straight took the beat and she was like, all right, cool. Big energy.
Sampling in music, man. Look.
It's all fucked up now.
Somebody gotta fix this. This is.
Look, we gotta ban all sampling until we find out what's going on. Okay.
Right. Yeah. The classic tweet.
We actually might be like done with music, like as a whole. Like I try not to say it on the show, but we
know what it is. We know we're in a non-canon era. HIV 50 was an aberration. It was a celebration of an already. Listen, let's not get started here. This shit is beyond cooked. At least, you know what? Shout out to Ace Hood for not being AI, I think.
I will never shout out Ace Hood ever.
I think music is just plain Jane over. Like, I think recordings might just finally finish. We got to find new hobbies at this rate. There's nothing left anymore. It's just transaction.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ace Hood for the existential crisis.
We gotta cover all the old shit from before it died. It's clearly dead, but it's not just rap. Everyone's focusing, rap's dead. Right? No, then they're like, nah, music's dead. Nah, not music. Whole. Everything is cooked, bro. Video games,
over.
Wrestling, okay, print media, and seemingly online media now. Okay, fucking movies for sure, dead. Okay, we're cooked. We are cooked.com coming soon. The new website, which will focus exclusively on the different ways that we're cooked.
That's why Cannabis Cannabis made a flip to some totally different medium. He was like, "Music's over. It's over. I'm done rapping."
I just saw Tinashe on the side on the timeline selling weed.
Yeah,
right? Smart decision.
All right, look, Caleb, Moulz and Mel are showing up on Tuesday at Auto Parts, and we're getting it cracking. Okay, it's over.
Hey, man,
buddy, like we selling brake pads in this motherfucker real soon.
Oh man, yeah. Look, folks,
I ain't got no words for you.
I ain't got no words for you. Caleb, is there anything you like to plug before we get out of here?
Subscribe to the Middle of Nowhere on my Substack, or just follow me on Twitter and follow the link in the bio at CalebCat23, CalebCat23. Say it like Fabulous so you don't forget. And yeah, man, come fuck with the vision. I am still trying to figure out like a tier system for the subscription base because I can't think of a way to like incentivize people without feeling skeevy about it. So but at this rate, I think at minimum, if you give me like a $5 a month type of deal, you can get whatever playlisting and whatever else I can get to you. I think that is, give me a couple sodas, you get a big fat playlist that I make every month for myself. So now I can share it with the rest of you. And then if you're really trying to drop a big 50 ball on me, I'll fucking figure it out at some point. But yeah, just subscribe to the Middle of Nowhere. Follow me on Twitter where I do most of my shit talking. And I'll be back on here for another album. And hopefully we don't got to listen to Ace Hood again.
Well, there's no guarantees. It depends on what song you choose, what album you're on for. But of course, you're always welcome back, and we love to have you. Thank you again, man.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Hey, it's Mel from Rap Rankings. To hear the full episode this clip comes from and all of the other episodes, check the link in the description, stop by raprankings.com, or search Rap Rankings on your favorite podcast platform. And please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting to help us grow the channel and continue our journey as hip-hop's first and premier extreme podcast.